Howdy, www.stepsonmyroad.org, suicide prevention, choose life. If you go to the website, 2 images, stream and the tunnel, we're trying to offer you stepping stones to cross the river, choose life, and tunnels to come out of the cave. Stepping stone number 4 is the wood cried out to the chisel, why are you hurting me so much? The reason I put that one in there, I love parables, I love symbolism. I love a way of explaining complex truths in a very simple way. Jesus does it in the Bible. He uses the parables, very, very interesting old wisdom literature. And one of the things I often feel out of all that is that it's quite obvious the apostles half the time didn't really understand what he was talking about. The wood cried out to the chisel, why are you hurting me so much? Here's a piece of wood, just an ordinary, hopeless lump of wood. It's unshapen, untested. I picked it up outside and it's actually already decaying and it's got wormholes in it. There's not really a whole lot you can do with it at this stage. Now, if you're going to try and make something nice out of it, you take a hammer and a chisel and you start banging away with the hammer and the chisel and try and make something out of it. And that is a painful process. There's going to be bits of wood flying in all directions, it's going to crack, and the wood might cry out to the chisel, why are you hurting me so much? You know, what the heck's going on? However, if the sculptor goes about it the right way, he can turn a useless lump of wood into something very, very beautiful. This fellow, if you can see it, comes out of the Solomon Islands. I was flying helicopters down there. We went into Honiara in the Solomon Islands, and I'm walking around the back streets, and there's this old boy carving wood into shapes, and he was carving this eagle, and I thought it was absolutely glorious. And I sat down and BS'd with him for a few hours while he finished it off, and you can actually see he's got a fish there, and the eagle, I guess it is looking at the fish, or he's just caught the fish and he's kind of pleased with himself, and that came out of one solid piece of wood. And it, you know, I mean, it's bits of wood and sawdust and splinters all over the place, but it was absolutely glorious, and of course I had to go buy it. I really liked it. So you start off with this, you know, I think you know where I'm going with this. You start off with this shapeless piece of wood, which is us, and then you end up, although it's a painful process, you can end up with something very, very beautiful, like this. There's a symbol or an allegory of life. I was over in Angola flying helicopters. Guess what? Remember this one? See no evil. I thought it was neat. I had to buy them. And this one, hear no evil. Cool. Piece of wood, I had to buy them. Souvenir of Angola, flying helicopters in Angola. Speak no evil. And this one, I really shouldn't show you this on polite YouTube, but I will. Keep your dick in, you know what I mean? Right. So, the wood cries out the chisel, why are you treating me so badly? Why are you hurting me so much? That very much is a symbol of life. Like it or not, life kicks us in the whatsits from time to time. To understand why things happen the way they do would take an enormous mind. I don't possess that mind. I do see, though, how things in life that at the time we thought was disastrous turn out for the best. Our ability to understand and to exercise compassion seems to be something that is carved out in us. That's what I'd say to people that are, you know, you hear terrible things happen to people, and people go through hell, but that ability to eventually put all that to good use, that ability to withstand and go through that, it ain't easy. Life, like I keep saying, life is not always good, but it's always interesting. I mean, God dear, to put it in philosophical terms, you know, stuff happens, it really does. Another way of looking at all this, life will shoot bullets at us. You know, that's all there is to it. And bullets, this is a hollow point. It expands if it hits somebody, and it rips up your flesh and bones, and life will shoot a lot of bullets at you. Here's a magazine. You know, life will do that to you. A good human being I think, recognizes the incoming bullets and doesn't let the lead tear up your bones. It absorbs it in a way that it doesn't affect you. And you send it back. It's like black bullets coming in, you send white bullets back. It's easily said, but it is true that some of the worst things in life, provided you don't become bitter or cynical, if you become bitter or cynical, it kind of acid destroys everything. But if you can, accept it, move on, learn from it, that's what carves out in us the ability to understand and to exercise compassion. Compassion is such a wonderful thing. I can't find a stronger stepping stone to try and explain to people who are very depressed over the terrible things that have happened to them. All kinds of stuff happens to all kinds of people. You read the articles, what drives people to suicide. I mean, stuff really happens. But as long as you can work your way through it, that's what friends are for, or whatever source of inspiration you can get to come through those difficult times. As long as you can come through it, and as long as you don't become embittered or cynical, that's what makes you. That's what carves out in you the ability to exercise compassion, to exercise understanding. For me, of all the stepping stones so far, I've written quite a few now, I really like number 4. I like that concept that the wood cries out to the chisel, why do you hurt me so much? And of course, if you want to waft off on a theological, philosophical aspect, you can say, well, alright, so we're the wood, we're being shaped, what's the chisel and who's holding the chisel? Well, the chisel is life. The chisel is life's stuff that comes at us, very often unexpected. You think in life you're going to go that way, and something comes along and now you're going off that way, like, what happened there? Who's holding the chisel? That's another whole different philosophical direction we could go into. As Steps on the Road develops, as I put more to it, and if you have time to look at my website, my webpage, chopperstories.com, you'll see that I'm kind of hesitant to preach. It's not my cup of tea. I'll leave that to other people. There's so many people standing in the pulpit and, God does this and God does that, and this is the way it works and that's the way it works. I'm a little bit of a rebel, a renegade. I just want to say, how do you know? I believe, I'm spiritual, yes, I believe there's an awful lot going on. I tend to believe in what I call the great cosmic kindness, and you can interpret that way whatever way you like. I read all kinds of wisdom literature, I read the Bible. I'm probably very much a spiritual person in the sense that I'm convinced there's much more going on than we know, and there are tremendous consequences for our actions. But who exactly is holding the chisel, why and how? Those are huge questions. Very interesting ones, but huge questions. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Stepping stone number 4, reason to live. Accept that bullets come our way, that the chisel comes our way, and that sometimes we get splintered up and broken up and bits are chipped off, and that it's a painful process, but that makes us what we are. And we can be, if we resist bitterness and cynicism, we can be beautiful people. So, steps on my road, choose life. Suicide sucks. Life is always interesting. May not always be good, but it's always interesting. Have a good day.